Whoa, Raj, man, I was reading this passage and it hit me, right? How lonely sits the city that was full of people. Like, wow, that just paints such a picture, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely, Tyler. You've just hit upon the very first verse, the absolute opening of the book of Lamentations. And that word, how lonely, it's actually Eichah in the original Hebrew. And it's a traditional opening, for a dirge or a funeral song. It immediately sets such a profound tone of grief, doesn't it? It just plunges you into that sorrow.
Yeah, it totally does. It's just so visceral, like you can almost feel the emptiness. And then it goes on, how like a widow has she become, she that was great among the nations. A widow, that's intense imagery, man.
It really is, Tyler. And it's not just poetic, it's deeply symbolic. Jerusalem, you see, was personified as this woman. And to be a widow, it meant she'd lost everything. Her king, her sense of protection, her children. It's a very powerful way to describe the utter devastation after the Babylonian conquest in 586 BCE. Imagine a bustling city reduced to this lonely, grieving figure.
Man, that's heavy. So this isn't just a sad poem, it's like a whole historical moment wrapped in agony.
Exactly. It's absolutely a historical moment. And that imagery, the widow, it's not just about a husband. For a city like Jerusalem, which was considered the head, the husband in a metaphorical sense, was its king, its god, its whole identity. So when the Babylonians came in, they destroyed everything, right? They took away its sovereignty, its glory, leaving it totally helpless and vulnerable.
So it's not just a person, it's like a whole entity, a nation kind of laid bare. And then there's that other line, she that was a princess among the cities has become a vassal. Princess to vassal? That's quite the demotion, isn't it? Like a huge fall from grace. A massive, massive fall, Tyler. You've hit the nail on the head. Imagine a princess, someone with prestige, independence, power, and then suddenly she's subjugated. She's forced to pay tribute, to work for her conquerors. It wasn't just like a defeat in battle, it was a complete stripping away of status, of dignity. It's just really stark, that contrast. Wow, so it's like they didn't just conquer them, they utterly humiliated them. They took their pride, their independence, everything. Man, that's rough.
Absolutely. Humiliation, subjugation, it was total. And what makes this particular passage and the whole book of Lamentations so incredibly poignant is that it's traditionally attributed to the prophet Jeremiah. He's believed to have been an eyewitness. He saw the siege, the destruction of Jerusalem firsthand. He was there.
Wait, so this isn't just someone recounting history later. This is like from a guy who lived through it. That's a whole different level of emotional depth, isn't it? Like raw testimony. Oh, totally. It's raw, unfiltered anguish. Imagine witnessing your beloved city, your holy city, being utterly destroyed, laid to waste. Jeremiah, his heart just poured out this profound sorrow and anguish, reflecting on the consequences of the nation's transgressions, and yet also pleading for God's mercy. So the book itself, it's not just mourning, it's also like a prayer almost for some kind of redemption or understanding. That's kind of hopeful in a way, even with all the sadness. Exactly, Tyler. It functions as this poetic expression of suffering, yes, but intertwined with that deep, deep suffering is this underlying plea. It's truly incredible, a testament to the resilience of hope amidst utter desolation. Okay, so it's about resilience, but man, how do you even get to hope when everything's just, absolutely shattered?
That's a powerful question, Tyler. Because before hope can emerge, the depth of the despair and betrayal must first be fully expressed. This passage reveals that profound abandonment. She weeps bitterly in the night, tears on her cheeks. Among all her lovers, she has none to comfort her. All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They have become her enemies.
Wow. No one to comfort her. Not just defeated, but betrayed by everyone? Friends becoming enemies. That's a total gut punch, like beyond physical destruction.
Precisely. The lovers and friends symbolize past political alliances Jerusalem made with nations like Egypt or Assyria, which ultimately offered no solace or even turned hostile. It's a stark portrayal of utter political and spiritual isolation, compounding the city's agony. So they were left completely alone in their suffering. That's brutal.
Brutal is truly the word, Tyler. And it's not just the isolation within Jerusalem. The text continues this theme of relentless suffering by describing Judah's actual exile. Judah has gone into exile because of affliction and hard servitude. It's a double blow, the trauma of destruction followed by forced relocation under harsh conditions.
Whoa, so it's not just that they were defeated, but they were literally uprooted and forced to work? That's another level of control and pain. Like their entire lives just flipped upside down.
Absolutely. And the passage emphasizes the profound lack of peace or stability. She dwells now among the nations, but finds no resting place. Imagine being displaced, living as an outsider, constantly on edge, never truly able to settle or feel safe, no matter where you go. No resting place. Man, that sounds utterly exhausting, physically and emotionally. And then, to make it even worse, her pursuers have all overtaken her in the midst of her distress. So even after all that, they're still being hounded? There's no escape?
Exactly, Tyler. Even in their weakened, vulnerable state, surrounded by distress, the Babylonians, their pursuers, continue to exert control, ensuring no moment of respite. It paints a picture of total encirclement by suffering, a nation stripped of not only its home, but also its very ability to find peace.
This ongoing anguish, Tyler, penetrates every aspect of life, even the sacred. The lament continues, depicting Zion's absolute desolation. The roads to Zion mourn, for none come to the appointed feasts. All her gates are desolate, her priests groan, her maidens have been dragged away, and she herself suffers bitterly.
Wow, roads to Zion mourn. That's just chillin'. And no feasts? That's like the ultimate sign of a dead community, right? No worship, no gathering, and the gates desolate? Just emptiness.
Exactly. The absence of feasts means the cessation of spiritual life, while desolate gates confirm there's no return, no commerce, just abandonment. And the suffering of the priests, the religious leaders, and the maidens being dragged away, that's the theft of hope, of future generations, the deepest violation. So it's not just a city, it's a soul utterly crushed. Every layer, from daily life to spiritual purpose, just gone. And then she herself suffers bitterly, just wraps up that total agonizing pain. Tyler, this profound suffering isn't arbitrary. The text offers a difficult explanation. Her foes have become the head, her enemies prosper, because the Lord has made her suffer for the multitude of her transgressions. Her children have gone away, captives before the foe.
Wow, a direct consequence? Enemies winning because of it? Brutal truth, Raj. Divine punishment.
Precisely. Their subjugation, her foes have become the head, is explicitly linked to their multitude of her transgressions. It's a stark judgment for their collective actions.
And then her children have gone away, captives before the foe. Not just humiliation, that's ripping the future right out of their hands.
The ultimate loss. It truly is the ultimate loss. Losing their children, the next generation, to forced captivity solidifies utter desolation. Families broken, lineage severed. So it's destruction, self-inflicted pain, and children taken. Man, that's a relentless cascade of tragedy.
Man, that's a relentless cascade of tragedy. So it's like they lost everything. Their kids, their home. What else could even be stripped away?
Tyler, it's precisely at this point, after such utter devastation, that the text brings an even deeper sense of humiliation and loss of power. It states, "From the daughter of Zion has departed all her majesty."
Wow, majesty departed. So it's not just that they're a vassal, but their whole essence of being a powerful, respected nation is just gone, like completely drained.
Exactly. The very essence of her former glory, her divine favor, her regal bearing, vanished. And it goes further, illustrating the leadership's utter collapse. Her princes have become like harts that find no pasture. They fled without strength before the pursuer.
Princes? Like hearts? Like deer running away? No pasture? So they're starving, helpless, and just fleeing? Not even fighting back? Without strength? Man, that's just total defeat.
It paints a stark image, doesn't it? The leaders, who should have been strong and guiding, are reduced to scared, starving animals, utterly devoid of power or the ability to defend their people. It's the final devastating blow to their sovereignty.
Man, so it's not just physical defeat, it's total humiliation. Every aspect of leadership shattered. How do you process that when everything you knew is gone?
It's precisely then, Tyler, when all seems lost, that memory itself becomes a profound source of both pain and, eventually, a flicker of resilience. The text tells us, Jerusalem remembers in the days of her affliction and bitterness all the precious things that were hers from days of old.
Whoa, so they're looking back, remembering the good times, the glory. That's gotta be a punch to the gut when you're in such a bad place, like seeing old photos when you're down.
Absolutely. Recalling that past grandeur, the precious things, amplifies the sting of their present affliction and bitterness. And this vulnerability was not lost on their conquerors. When her people fell into the hand of the foe and there was none to help her,
No one to help her, so utterly isolated. And you just know the enemy isn't being sympathetic, right? They're rubbing it in.
Exactly, Tyler. The text chillingly concludes that the foe gloated over her, mocking at her downfall. It wasn't enough to conquer. They reveled in her pain, a final, cruel twist of the knife, deepening the wound of memory with bitter derision. And Tyler, following that bitter gloating, the text doesn't shy away from the why in the most gut-wrenching terms. It declares, Jerusalem sinned grievously, therefore she became filthy. It's a stark, painful acknowledgement of their collective actions leading to this defilement.
Whoa, filthy. That's such a heavy word, man. It's not just a mistake, it's like a moral corruption, right? And that's why everyone's piling on?
Precisely. And the impact of that moral stain is devastatingly public. All who honored her despise her, for they have seen her nakedness. Her former allies, once respectful, now view her with contempt because her vulnerability and shame are laid bare.
Nakedness. Man, that's intense. Total exposure, total loss of dignity. All their secrets, all their weaknesses just out there. That's the ultimate humiliation.
Absolutely, Tyler. And it's not just external shame. The text goes deeper into her internal agony, stating, Yea, she herself groans and turns her face away. It's a profound self-rejection, an inability to even face her own reflection in this state of defilement.
So, not only shamed by others, but so ashamed she can't even look at herself.
That's just heartbreaking, Raj. A city utterly broken.
And Tyler, this utter brokenness is then explained with stark clarity. The text reveals her uncleanness was in her skirts. It implies a deep-seated, hidden moral defilement, an internal corruption that directly led to her downfall.
Uncleanness in her skirts. Man, that's heavy. So it's not just external defeat, but like an internal rot, a hidden corruption finally exposed? Way deeper than just losing a battle. Exactly. And tragically, this internal state was met with profound negligence. She took no thought of her doom. A blindness, a failure to anticipate the catastrophic consequences, almost a willful ignorance of the impending disaster.
Wow, so corrupt and ignored the warnings, didn't see it coming or refused to, and that's why her fall was so terrible, as it says, utterly unavoidable once that blindness set in? Precisely. Because of that profound uncleanness and lack of foresight, therefore her fall is terrible, an inescapable collapse, leaving them utterly exposed. And reinforcing the theme of isolation, she has no comforter, completely alone in her agony.
No comforter. Man, that just seals it. Hidden corruption, ignored warnings, a terrible, unescapable fall, and then just nobody there. The ultimate heartbreaking tragedy.
That's exactly right, Tyler. It's a tragedy compounded by isolation. And it's at this absolute nadir, when all human comfort is gone, that the voice of the lamenter turns outward, upward even, in a desperate, raw plea for divine intervention. The text cries out, "Look, O Lord, and see, for I have become vile."
Whoa, look, O Lord, and see. That's like a direct challenge, or maybe a desperate, almost angry prayer. And vile, that ties back to the filthy part, right? It's like they're admitting their sin, but also saying, look at what it's done to us.
Precisely, Tyler. It's an incredibly potent moment. It's not a denial of their culpability, but rather a profound, visceral appeal to God's compassion and justice, even in their defiled state. It's saying, yes, we acknowledge our uncleanliness, but do not abandon us in this utterly broken state.
So it's like a desperate acknowledgement, but also a demand for attention, for some kind of response from the heavens. Man, that's heavy. After everything, they're still looking for something.
Indeed, it's a testament to the enduring human, and in this case, communal need to connect with the divine, even when it feels as though that connection has been severed. This raw, unflinching honesty is the bedrock upon which any future hope,